Right. Hello, everybody. My name is Nu, and welcome to my presentation. And in this presentation, I will talk about my personal image of Jesus. And the title that I give Jesus today is the Helper. And the reason I chose this title because of Jesus' generosity in helping people's in needs stand out the most for me. Just like to. So my first image of Jesus is that he's a man who sacrificed himself for the sins of others, and everyone loves him for what he has done for the people. And this is the most impressive image about him because the image has been portrayed in church and social media. And the image I had at the beginning of the course is that people can inspire by Jesus because he has given other people hope. Jesus is the one who people turn to when they are in difficult situations. He's an inspirational sort for people who look to in order to be a better version, in order to be a better person and version of themselves. I was born in Vietnam when Christianity is not the main religion in my country. And I personally didn't practice any religion growing up. And I've only been exposed to Jesus when I learned and explored Western culture. And I saw that Jesus was shown and communicated in many movies, shows, and other media outlets. So what I found significant is that based on the Christological model of adoption, Jesus started out as a regular devout Jew, living an obedient life as a human being. But after getting baptized by John, he was adopted by God as God's son and manifested God's presence within him. And Jesus has both human and divine part in him. So there's our three titles from 4 Gospels that best describe the human and divine part of Jesus. They are King of Israel, the new Moses, and the suffering Messiah. And in Hebrew, Messiah means Christ, and Jesus has been suffering for the sin of others and to help make the world a better place. And just like Moses, Jesus has the ability of using his miracle to bring happiness and freedom to others. And in the Gospel of Luke, it talks about how after Jesus was baptized and God present were within Jesus, and the Spirit sent Jesus for 40 days to be tested by the devil. Jesus started teaching, healing, and working for the people in need, sharing God's presence with everyone he interacted with. And through Jesus, others were able to feel God's love and presence. Everyone wanted to know who Jesus was, but Jesus only led his disciples and the people who sent him and worked through him, which was God. And I found that the Gospel of Luke to be the most interesting and appealing because the parables and the story in Gospel contain wisdom and the teaching from God that were being manifested through Jesus. And it also contained many ideas and teachings about humbleness, love, and forgiveness that are relevant and timeless even to this day. And in this slide, I am going to talk about the 3 titles and functions of Jesus that are discussed by Bohr. So according to Bohr, compassion is the foundation of Jesus' relationship with God and with everyday life. He suggests that politics should be operated from a paradigm of community and compassion. He also makes an important point where Christians should live a life with compassion, just as Jesus did, and not depend so much on how to treat people or see things from society point of view. And one of the titles of Jesus that I find interesting is that Jesus claimed himself to be the son of Sophia, and we never know who God is, but in Boer, Sophia is the personification of God. So Jesus is the Son of God who carries a mission to spread God's wisdom to the world. And this is a pre-Easter Jesus. And also in chapter 2, we refer Jesus to the image of teacher of wisdom. And this is the pre-Easter Jesus. In this role, Jesus regularly used the form of wisdom speech, such as parables or memorable short sayings to teach a lesson to others. And I think this is one of the roles that Jesus owed throughout his ministry. We all know that Jesus is the Son of God that was born by Virgin Mary, and he has the ability to heal people and perform miracles. However, we don't know exactly what does Jesus look like. We don't have any descriptive data on the appearance of Jesus. And what I find interesting in chapter 4 of Powell, page 11, is that historians are trying to reconstruct the real Jesus in flesh and bone. And this is the picture that I get reference from chapter 4 of Powell. And this is the reconstructed head of Christ were produced by a forensic scientist and medical artist at the University of Manchester. And the scientist worked with 3 skulls of Semitic Galilean men from the 1st century to compose a reasonable face amount of what Jesus actually looked like. And the scientists further suggest that Jesus would have been about 5 feet 1 and weigh about 110 pounds, and he likely had a beard because this was customary for teachers. So, I've never feel like Jesus as real and raw like this in this picture right here. I always think Jesus is like God, in which nobody know what does he look like. But in the chapter, Jesus is just like any normal human beings that we encounter every day on the street. And the image of Jesus, who is 5 feet tall and weighed 110 pounds, is so relatable in today's world. And we see so many real people are doing the same thing as Jesus to help people in needs in society nowadays. And because Jesus is a figure that has received the most attention in all of history, and many historian authors and have identified Jesus in their own way, since Jesus' significance has spread throughout the world in many different countries and cultures. It is interesting that the concept or image of Jesus will be different depends on which country and culture you experience. It makes Jesus more relatable to that culture, and people might feel a deeper connection with him because his physical features or significance might be more relatable to the person's own culture. In the end, Jesus is still the Son of God, and God's teaching still has present no matter what country or culture Jesus is in. So this is one of the gospel that I really like, and I find is the most interesting gospel story to me. So the story is in the Gospel of Luke, named "Don't Judge Other," in Luke chapter 6, verse 37 to 38. And this story is very straightforward, in which Jesus tried to teach us to be non-judgmental and be respectful to others. And I am a nursing student, and the story teach me to be aware of my biases and assumption, because biases and assumption can interfere with how I perceive people, which will directly affect the quality of care that I give to my patient. And I am practicing this lesson from Jesus every day. And this is the quote from the gospel story. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. So it's basically said you would need to treat people just like how you wanted to be treated. So this is the end of my presentation, and thank you for listening.